As you know, as human beings, we have the brain, the way the brain programs, the way the brain, physical brain thinks. And we have that higher self, the higher consciousness, the soul self, whatever you want to call it. They're working together. And when you're really listening all the time to your instinct and your intuition, and you feel in your body, you feel the energy of other people. We are constantly remembering how our core self feels. I use the word energy a lot, and some people don't really understand what energy is. So I'm going to say, like, it's a core feeling, it's an instinct, intuition. You feel it in your whole body, and you feel it when you are around other people. So we don't often know why we are so attracted to other people because it can be for many reasons. If if you were married to somebody, say it was the 1700s, and you were married and you had an absolutely beautiful marriage, it was like you really clicked. They brought so much to you and you brought so much to them. It was a beautiful union, and the soul remembers that love and that union. So when the soul has returned back to source energy, it's a remembering of that can exist. If you come back a few times, reincarnate, if you find yourself reincarnating again in, now times, and you come across somebody else, you're instantly attracted to them. You're like, this is the one. This is the one for me. You think, I know them. I've known them before. And it's like you hear people say, oh, I've met this relationship and we just knew each other. And it can be because of the remembrance of those souls that had that existence previously and you found each other again, because all souls know each other. I know I've talked about this before when I went through my near-death experience. My soul knew the doctor, my soul knew the nurse, my soul knew everybody that I encountered on the other side, yet in my physical reality, I didn't know them. It was just this familiarity. But sometimes, so when we are in the physical body, sometimes we have an even deeper knowing that we know that soul. And there's a few reasons for this. Sometimes it's because you've already had an existence before. You've already both been in a similar situation, either as family members, as lovers, best friends. There's been a lifetime where you have experienced it and remembered it and taken that information back. So when part of that soul comes back again, it's that remembering of, wow, I remember them. They were really good to me in a previous life. So, and I found them again. So it's just a comfortable, really, really comfortable feeling. Other times when we are broken, um, and we're looking for somebody to heal us, but we don't know. We don't know why. Sometimes people don't even think they're broken. Like if you look at somebody, think, gee, they're really emotionally inept or they're living by their ego, you can see it clearly, but they cannot see it. For the life of them, they cannot see it because they don't think there's anything wrong with them. But apart from their ego self, their higher self knows that they need some help, and their higher self is steering them to find somebody who is either on a higher level than them that can help raise them up to where they need to be, somebody that's already grounded and very wise. They will migrate to them because they can learn something from them. So it's an invisible power that we have that draws us to people. Healers will be a magnet to somebody that needs healing. And quite often, if the healer's not aware that that's what they're doing, then the healer starts going, oh my goodness, all I keep finding is these broken people and these people that need help all the time, and it's draining me, because the healer is not aware that that's what they're doing. And it's the opposite way, where the other person is looking for someone out there that can help them go up to another level, help them to understand something, help them to bring something out. that feeling of getting help from somebody else will also be a really, really strong soul connection. And another reason is if a person has been through a very, very like traumatic experience, let's say, for example, they lost everything, like they had everything set up, their life was happy, and circumstances happened and they lost everything, and then they found themselves all alone with just a shirt off their back and nothing else. They've lost everything. And then they try to put their pieces of their life back together again, and they do, some healing work on themselves, and they try to work out why it all happened. And they find another person, and they have this really strong attraction. It's like a magnetic attraction to them. And then they don't, without knowing them, they just feel it, and they can't stop thinking about them, and they want to know this person deeper. And then they find that this person has been through exactly the same thing. Not exactly the same, but they've gone through the same emotions. So there's that familiarity out, the energy or that knowing inside of us is like, I know what this feels like, and it's that person over there knows what it feels like, and it's so familiar. That's why I'm attracted to them. You see how energy's constantly working with the energy that's like the aura of ourself is constantly working with the aura of other people. Dr. Gabor Mate, he says this absolutely beautiful phrase, which I'll read to you. He says, couples choose each other with an unerring instinct for finding the very person who will exactly match their own level of unconscious anxieties and mirror their own dysfunctions, and who will trigger for them all their unresolved emotional pain. Again, that's an explanation of whatever we are feeling about ourselves, we will attract in another person. And I've said this many times, if you're somebody who doesn't see your own self-worth, and you don't have your own respect for yourself, you will meet people that will treat you with no respect and no worth. They'll just use you, because why would they want to respect you if you can't respect yourself? So then when you do finally respect who you are, you find other people who will respect who you are. You have to feel it and act out on it, like show it in your public self how you are, for them to respond in the same manner. So we're constantly, I've heard of a lot of women who have been sexually used by men because they're putting out this sexual energy. And the men are just taking it. Men are just taking that sexual energy as like it's a gift to them, where it's just the woman hasn't learned how to harness it to use it for the best of her own abilities. So it ends up being that she just thinks she's just going to get used by men all the time. You've constantly got to be aware of what you really, really feel about yourself, what you are sending out. I have people say to me sometimes, I can't find friends, or people just won't hang around me. So this is when you really need to not just look at your personality. It's deeper. It's this energy that you're sending out. And some people have really, really draining energy. Like if you're someone who absorbs a lot of energy, you can't be around them. It's too much. If you're somebody that doesn't absorb any energy at all, you can be around them. You just got to find your people that work for you and that it works for them as well. Or you become so strong in yourself that nothing anyone else is doing can bother you. And I have learnt that myself, where the stronger I am, the more confident I am in who I am and how I think and how I feel. If somebody else was standing there and they were yelling at me or they were upset with me, I can see their issues. I don't take it as my issue unless it's something I actually said. If I said something and then on purpose, I thought I purposely, and then they were telling me like, well, you purposely said this to me, which was insulting, then I can take it on board to apologize. There's still got to be accountability. But when it's just somebody having issues in their life, if they're an angry person, if life is not going their way and they are reflecting it onto somebody else because like they're not happy, so they're reflecting it onto you, that you don't have to carry that for them. That's their issue. And it's when you understand that it's just this energy exchange. That's what we are constantly doing all the time, is energy exchange. Somebody who loves to shit stir the pot, they will say stuff to everyone around them to get a bite. They want attention. They want to stir things up. Their life might be boring. It's, again, constantly energy exchanging. Someone who just wants to sit quietly will ignore everyone around them. You can talk to them and they will totally ignore you because they just want to be on their own. So it's really about understanding what you feel. When you wake up in the morning, how do you feel about the day? Is it like, I'm looking forward to today? I've got things I've got to work out. I've got challenges that I've got to get through. Or are you, not another day, I don't want to do this. You're sending that out of your body. That feeling, that frequency of those thoughts is constantly going out of your body. And however else other people are feeling, so if they're a healer, they will feel that and feel empathy for you. If they're not a healer, they won't care. If we don't, the energy we send out is landed differently on how other people receive it.